Adventureverse Mission Editor User Guide. Let's have a look at cutscenes and the basics there. So we've got the narrative tab here, which is where cutscenes live. And a cutscene can basically be any kind of dialogue exchange, whether it's a fully cinematic one with the characters moving around and animated and the camera moving, or just dialogue being exchanged between two characters. So we'll drop a cutscene into here. There we go. And I'll make that the default parent and drop a couple of cutscene steps in. And you can see that they get turned into children of the cutscene. And the cutscene has now got these sort of linked things showing which steps are which. But first it's going to do cutscene step A, then cutscene step B. So the idea of a cutscene step, we'll just have a quick look at one, is here we go, is an elastic block of time. Usually based around a piece of dialogue where a character says something but other events may occur in there. So just put a quick cutscene together. Adam Zorn, this robot character, says, I'm just a mere robot. Synthesoid. I'm just a mere synthesoid. That will give a duration in seconds. We'll say he says that it takes 5 seconds to say that. And then cutscene B, we could have a second character, Esperanto, where's she? Future telepath. Don't knock it, Clanky. She replies to him, bit of dialogue there. And we will now select the cutscene itself. We'll make it not cinematic, so it's just going to be the dialogue happens. And we can hook that up to the start of the challenge and have it play there. Now, before we do that, we can actually just test it. Press the test button there. I need to reset first, I think. Yep, so press the test button here, and you get the dialogue. I'm just a mere synthesoid. 3, 4, 5. Don't knock it, Clanky. So that can be dialogue with the characters talking, playing over the top, while you're, in the game doing action and so on. What if we want to make that cinematic, though? Let's have a look at doing that then. So we'll make this cutscene cinematic now. And for each of these cutscene steps, we can start putting other objects in there. So we'll make that the default parent, and we're going to drop a camera move in here. And I'll put it over here. And likewise with this one, make that the default and put a camera move in there as well. Camera move, I'll call these camera move A and camera move B, so they match the cutscenes. So they match the step names rather. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a couple of characters in here as well. So I'll put character over here. Oops, didn't really want him to be a child of that. Make it a child of the cutscene. Tell you what, I'll get rid of the default parent. And this character will make Adam Zorn, the character I picked earlier. Select him, and it renames it to Adam Zorn there to make it easier to remember who's who. And over here, we'll have a character who can be Esperanto. There she is. Right, so we'll put some camera moves in. Select one of these camera moves here. And all we do is basically fly the camera around to where we want to start. Let's say we want to start looking at the two of them like that, and we go save start. And we want to sort of zoom in on Adam's face here to get a close-up for him as the camera zooms in there, save end. Now we'll wait for a second with the frame in shot, and we'll make that pan last 2 seconds. So the camera will sort of zoom in there, and we can test this camera move. We just press test. It's going to look like that. Yeah, that's okay. And then maybe from there, in the second camera move, if we select that, we could go, we don't want to snap from this at the start, we just want to start off wherever we are, and we'll look over to Esperanto here and save that as the end. And once again, we'll say we'll delay for 0 seconds and have a duration of 1 second, have a fairly fast move there. So we can test that one as well. So we're looking over here, go test, it'll just move the camera like that. With any of these camera moves as well, you can view the start and view the end. There's the end of the Adam Zone one. If we then play this one afterwards, go test, moves like that. Yeah, that's not bad. Now, what we want to do with these cutscene steps is get them to play the camera moves. So we've got this event system here, where we can add events at a particular time. So here we're going to say camera move A, play for the event for that one. We can hook that up that way. We can also hook these up using the info panels. We're going to go cutscene B, events is going to call play on camera move B. And that means that cutscene B has now got camera move B play at 0 seconds. So we can now test this whole cutscene. We can select the cutscene and go test. I'm just a mere synthesoid. And camera pan, don't knock it clanky. And 5 seconds, and then we're back into the editor again. And we can basically keep on tweaking that as much as we like. We can say this camera move here wasn't quite right. Whoops. Unchilded something there, which wouldn't really affect it. That's just sort of organization to make it easier to look at. We could select this camera move A here and go, yeah, you know what, we want to make that not have a delay, make it move a little bit faster. Let's just test that. Okay, that's actually zooming into him properly now. I think I've found a bug here. I'll do the same with camera move B. Camera move B has got a delay of 0, yeah. So if we test the entire cutscene now, I'm just a missing, so that's a better close-up. I need to go and fix something there, and then it looks at Esperanto over there. So that's the basics of cutscenes there. You can have the cutscene object with cutscene steps, and the cutscenes can then call events, including camera moves, which will move the camera around when you're in cinematic mode.